Well, good morning everybody. I trust everybody's well. I'm well. All's well here, so I hope all's well with you. It's a really miserable, dull day here today, but I just thought we'd have a quick look at the pond. There is a reason, and I'll tell you in a moment, why I've still got my net on. But we'll just have a quick look at the koi and see what's going on in here. There is a little bit of glare on the pond, I'm afraid, so I'm sorry about that. It does want vacuuming out. I haven't done it for a fortnight. I've left it off at the moment, so it does need a good clean out. But the reason, and I really don't think we're going to see him, I've got the net on still, is because I bought a new little koi, bless him. Now, somewhere in there, he's not very big, so he usually stays under the lily out of the way. So we'll try to get a glimpse of him if we can, but it's going to be very difficult. I don't know whether you remember, I did 10 in 10 with Steve from Cat and I, and he said, what is your favourite koi? And I said, I haven't actually got one of my favourite koi, and it was a Shisui. Now, Steve took us to Japanese koi imports the other day, and we had a good walk around there. I had absolutely no intentions of buying anything. This is why I don't go to too many koi places, because I end up seeing something I like and coming home with one. So I haven't actually bought a koi in 10 years. I did see this little Shisui in there, and you know what it's like, I fell in love with him. So I had to bring him home. He was only small, he's only a small koi, so we'll probably have a job to see him, especially with the ripples on the pond. So anyway, I brought him home. He's now in the pond. I should have really took some video of him while he was still in the bag so you could get a look at him, but he is in there somewhere. It's a shame I can't get a shot of him. With being small, he finds the others a little bit intimidating, but they're ignoring him. He'll soon get used to it. He did come out feeding this morning first thing, but if I can get a shot of him, I will for you. But he's settled in nicely. Seems a lot better than when we first put him in, because we didn't see him. He dived into the lily and that was the last we see of him. But I think he's slowly getting used to the size of the koi in there with him. Like I say, he did feel a little bit intimidated, I think. But if I can get a shot of him, I will. I'll try, so that you can actually see him, basically. But like I say, he's a little bit elusive at the moment. The big thing you'll notice is, if you remember my buddleia bush, I call it the Triffid, it was absolutely massive. Well, eventually, it's gone. I've actually dealt with it. I've cut it right down this year. I don't want it getting so big, that's the thing. It really annoys me because it does create a lot of mess. But I do love the bumblebees and butterflies that come on it every year. So I'm going to give it a bash again next year and see what we can do. I've had to add a little bit more fence across here because of the heron could get in from the back there if we ever got a visit. So I've put a little bit of fence across there, temporary. But knowing the buddleia bush, it'll soon be back. But yes, it has gone. No more buddleia bush at the moment. Lily, as you can see, it's slowly dying off now. The leaves are going on it. They're all going sort of very pale green. So it's dying off now. So that always tells me every year winter's on the way. So I suppose it's not going to be long before we've got to start thinking of what we're going to do and getting ready for winter. Preparing our pond and our fish for the up and coming winter. The temperature is slowly dropping out the pond. I think I'm down to about 17 degrees now. It's probably even less today. I haven't had a look yet. Everything is dropping towards winter. Whatever happened to summer? We didn't get much of a one, did we? I think a lot of the banging about next door, and they've had a vibrating roller going, and I think that spooked the fish a little bit because they're all tending to hide underneath the lily. So I don't think the builders are doing me fish any favours at the moment. You can probably hear the noise the builders are creating. It doesn't seem like we're going to get a look at him, so as soon as I get some footage of him, I'll put it on the video. But that's how the pond's going at the moment. I'm keeping the net on for the simple reason, just in case he tries to jump out, he'll just hit the net and drop back in sooner than come flying out the pond. Anyway guys, that's the pond. If I manage to catch him and get a bit of video of him, I'll add it to this video. Well, hi everybody. It's about dinner time here and we've had some really horrible weather, but we've caught a lovely day. So I thought I'd just give you a quick look. Mind you, you're not going to see a lot because I've just given the pond a major clean out ready for winter. So I've had my pond vac out. I've just put a bit of extra air on it just to keep the dirt moving in the water so it goes down the bottom drain and back to the RDF to be taken out. So I'm afraid you're not going to see too much, but they're all in there, all fine. I have just put a bucket over the air pump that I'm using just down here. I've got a couple of air sounds on it just in case, because all of a sudden it looked like rain about 10 minutes ago, so I put a bucket over it quick and got ready to take my pond vac in, but it didn't come to anything, so we're all right. We've still got a little bit of sunshine. But yeah, we're taking it out. I've got a lot of algae out because I've left it so long. I've emptied that about 6 times now and it wants emptying again. So I took a fair old bit out. But that's what I'm up to at the moment. Just a major clean out on the pond. Well, hi everybody. I hope everybody's well. I'm well. I must start by making an apology. I haven't released a video for 2 or 3 weeks because I've been ultra busy on other things and I really haven't had any time for pond work, so I do apologise for that. I've got nothing done in my pond. I've got all my winter prep now to get done and sorted out. Like I say, I've been very busy, and then the wife had an accident in the car. Somebody pulled out in front of her, so we've had that in the dock being repaired. We finally got that back. She's okay, bless her, wasn't hurt, but there you go, one of them things I suppose. But everything's good in the pond. I did manage to start on my back struts across there, as you can see. I got them in yesterday ready for my pond covers, but I'm holding off on them as long as I possibly can because they say it's coming warmer into next week, so I'm going to hang on a bit. It was quite cool last night, I must admit. And I have actually switched my pump on now, my heat pump, the air source heat pump. I've now switched that on and I'm holding it at 16 degrees. So it certainly hasn't cooled down in there for them. It's not cutting in a lot actually, it's doing quite well. I think it cut in once last night just to top it up, but yeah, I'm holding it at 16 degrees and everything seems to be going quite well. You can see on the back side of the pond the fence is all over the place. I've just pulled that out so I can get the struts in and just stuck it back there for now. But it's doing the job. It doesn't look very good, but it's doing the job at the moment. I'm all ready for my pond covers. I've just got to get them out from the side of the shed. All the fish look good, so we'll go and have a look in the filter house. There's not a lot happened in there either. There's not a lot happened anywhere at the moment because, like I say, I have been really busy on other things. But we should be okay now, should be back to normal. So let's go have a look in the filter house. As you might be able to hear, the builders are still at it next door. They are banging about a bit, I'm afraid. I do apologise about that. But all's good in here. Everything seems to be working well. The protein skimmer, I just have that cut in at about 1 o'clock in the morning and then it cuts out about dinner time. So that's working well, I'm really pleased with that. I don't know whether you remember, I did put 2 sockets on here. One for my pump and one for the air pump and one for the pond pump that actually runs the upflow and the protein skimmer. That's so I've got more control over them. I can swap them over or do what I like. Now they're not sort of wired directly into the actual box itself. So I've done the same over here actually. I've put 2 sockets on here, one for the UV and one for the pond pump, so I can literally do the same, switch them on and off as I want, or swap them over, or do what I like with them now. So the actual feed comes from the timer switches and then into the sockets and controls them. If ever there was a problem, the cut out or cut in, and shut them both off. But like I say, I can still unplug them or switch them off or do what I like from them sockets there. I've got, I would think the heater's about to cut in. We're down to 15.6, so it'll cut in about 15.5 or 15.7 it is. But the sun's just come out, so hopefully it won't, but you never know. It cuts in at 15.5, back up to 16.5, so everything is good in here, nothing to report, nothing. Like I say, I've not done anything to it for 2 or 3 weeks, apart from I have cleaned my upflow filter. I do clean that at least twice a week, just to make sure we get all the rubbish out of that, but everything else is working fine. In my last video I did mention about making myself a backy shower, and I had full intentions of doing so, but then I started to think, well, if I built one, where would I put it? That is the big question. And really it would want to go this end. It would want to go this end of the pond because the water exits from this end via the bottom drain down there and the actual skimmer over there, which pumps it back up to the other end of the pond. But I'm not quite sure just where I'd put it. There's nothing along that back to stand it on because it's all rocks, and the little bit of wall the other end I'd have to take out this big overhanging plant to do so, plus it would block off the back garden, so I wouldn't really want it there. If I put it on top of the wall there, it'll block our view from the kitchen, and it's quite a big drop to the water from the shower. You probably know I don't like loud splashing water. I'm not a keen fan of it. I like a trickle and not a gush. I think fast moving water isn't relaxing at all, but then again it'd still block our view from the kitchen as well, so it can't really go there. I wouldn't want it round the front of the pond at all, where the viewing area is. I wouldn't want it round here, so I'm really stuck on where to put it. I've not really got anywhere to put one, so whether I can come up with something else, I'm not sure. But now I'm back into my ponding again, I'll see if I can think of anything, but there's nowhere on the pond itself I could really put one. That is the problem. You can just see him down there, I think. I've got to try not to move because he is really not keen on this camera. But he's getting on well. Here he comes again. There he is. That's my little Chisui. I must say he has grown since we've had him. Don't know whether you can see him that well, but that's him down there. Not going to let us have a look, I'm afraid. Here he comes. He's gone back behind his lily where he spends most of his time, the little devil. But I would say it's a bit intimidating with all them big fish in there, and he's only a little tiny tot. But he's getting on well. I just fell in love with him. He's a lovely old boy. There he goes. Now, as you know, the other day I got my back struts in for my pond covers. So what I want to do today is I'm going to get all the pond covers out, clean them all up and make them ready to go on. I was going to change the polycarbonate in them this year, but to be quite honest, I wanted to go from 10mm to 16mm. It's blooming expensive, and the idea of pond covers is not only to keep the heat in, but the main reason for your pond covers is to keep the wind off. Any cold air will cool your pond water quicker than anything, so it's mainly to keep the cold wind off and things like that, and keep the frost off it. They'll drop your temperature faster than anything. I think I'll make do with the 10mm this year and probably go to 16mm next year. But it's getting a bit late now to start thinking about that because I've been so busy this past month. I didn't get that organised at all, so I think I'm a bit late now. The pond covers really want to be going on next week. so I'm going to leave that now till next year, but I'll get them out today and get them cleaned up. Well, I've got them out, and I've got to be honest, they're not in as good a condition as I thought they were. I'm going to have to give them a really good pressure washer off, clean them up a bit. They really wanted painting, but I haven't got time to do them now. I've left it a bit late to do any painting, so they're going to have to go on as they are. But I'll give them a good clean up first before I put them on, just to make sure all that muck and rubbish is off them, and then they'll have to go on. I just haven't got time this year. So we'll get them cleaned up first before we put them on. Okay, as you can see, we're all set up. So now we'll get these cleaned off, ready to go on next week. Give them a good clean down. Should make things a lot better. I really think I need a new hose pipe. Don't these go stiff when the weather goes cooler? It's horrible. I think I need a new hose pipe. I have had it a few years, so I ought to treat myself, but it still does the job at the moment. So let's get these cleaned off and sorted out. Okay, I'll catch up with you guys later when I get them done. Okay, that's them all done. They're not brilliant, like I say. I wish I could have painted them, but they're all drying out now. Just leave them up there to dry out. It's going to get cold soon, so I don't think they'll dry out a lot after that, but this is just to let the water run off them basically. But I've got them all stood up, I've got them all cleaned down. They look a little bit better than they did. Now all I've got to do is get this cleaned up before the missus comes home. I've got to get that done before she sees all the mess I've made. I don't know what I'm going to do about the lawn. That didn't fare very well. But yeah, and I'll have to put her chair back as well before she sees I've been using it. But that's them done, all ready to go on now. That's another job out of the way. I apologise if there's a little bit of flickering going on the video, but the camera doesn't seem to want to agree with the light, so they seem to be playing each other up at the moment. So I apologise for that if there's a little bit of flickering. It usually sorts it out, but it doesn't seem to be doing at the moment. Now I've got all my pond covers clean and ready to go on. What I want to do is get all the polystyrene back on my RDF and my moving bed. I did put it in the shed in a nice stack, but the wife knocked it flying. So it's all mixed up now, so I've got to figure that one out. But that's what I want to do next, get all that in, and there's a bit of insulating to go back on that pipe down there, and probably a little bit around here where they can see what I can get at. I want to insulate all that as well, so I've got a bit of insulating to do. So that'll be the next job, getting that done. Okay, that's got them all stacked up there for the moment until next week, till this bit of warm weather comes that they're saying we're going to have, 2 or 3 days, and then I should probably put them on after that. But it's just starting to rain here. We've had a little bit of a shower, so I'm going to call that it for this one. I'm going to catch you all in the next one, so you all stay safe, take care, and as always, happy ponding.